Welcome to Celebrity Reports, the place where we dive deep into the fascinating world of celebrities and uncover the stories behind the headlines. Few television personalities have left a mark as enduring as Johnny Carson, the iconic host of The Tonight Show for 3 decades. Known for his sharp wit, impeccable timing, and effortless charm, Carson created an atmosphere where stars felt comfortable, and audiences felt like they were eavesdropping on intimate, often hilarious conversations. Over the years, thousands of guests sat on that famous couch, but there were a select few that Carson himself looked forward to more than anyone else. These guests weren't just good for ratings, they were good for Johnny's spirit. One of Carson's all-time favorites was comedian Marty Hennings, a fictional stand-up whose wild improvisations often left Johnny doubled over in laughter. Marty had a knack for making every appearance feel spontaneous. He once showed up dressed in a tuxedo top, pajama bottoms, and fuzzy slippers, claiming he had to rush straight from a dream to be there. Carson thrived on that unpredictability, often leaning back in his chair with tears in his eyes, struggling to get the show back on track while the audience roared. Another name on Johnny's list was singer and actress Lila Shore. Lila wasn't just talented, her stage presence was magnetic. She could perform a soulful ballad one moment and trade quick-witted banter with Johnny the next. Carson admired her ability to connect with people in a way that felt authentic. During one particularly memorable appearance, she sang a slow, heartfelt version of "Fly Me to the Moon" that was so captivating, the studio stayed silent for several seconds after she finished before bursting into applause. Johnny later told crew members that moments like that were why live TV is magic. Carson also had a soft spot for animal expert Carl Denson. Carl brought a parade of creatures, from tiny sugar gliders to towering emus, onto the set. Johnny, pretending to be composed, would inevitably end up in fits of laughter whenever an animal got a little too friendly or decided the desk was its new perch. On one occasion, a curious raccoon climbed right into Johnny's suit jacket, leaving him frozen in mock terror while the audience screamed with delight. These segments became instant classics, replayed in highlight reels for years. Actor James Ralston was another of Carson's favorites. James wasn't just a guest, he was a storyteller. He would spin wild tales about his supposed adventures in far-off places, weaving them with just enough truth to keep Johnny guessing. Carson loved the game of trying to figure out whether James was telling the truth or simply inventing on the spot. One of James's most famous appearances involved a lost weekend in Paris that included a mistaken identity, a misplaced tuxedo, and an impromptu performance at a cafe where he claimed he was mistaken for a famous pianist. Then there was Dorothy Klein, a fictional grandmotherly figure who became a surprise hit on the show. Dot had gained attention after sending Johnny a hand-knitted sweater with "Here's Johnny" stitched across the front. Carson invited her on the show, expecting a quick chat, but her unfiltered humor and quirky wisdom made her an instant favorite. She returned several times, each visit bringing more laughs as she shared her unique takes on everything from modern dating to the best way to make chili. Johnny adored her warmth and the fact that she could make an entire audience laugh without even trying. Of course, no list of Johnny's favorites would be complete without mentioning magician Ray Marlowe. Carson, an amateur magician himself, had a special appreciation for sleight-of-hand artistry. Ray's tricks were flawless, and he had a way of drawing Johnny into the performance, sometimes making him part of the trick, sometimes making him the punchline. During one unforgettable appearance, Ray accidentally made Johnny's microphone disappear mid-interview, leaving the host silently pantomiming in exaggerated confusion until the audience was in stitches. What made these guests so special to Johnny Carson wasn't just their talent, it was their ability to bring genuine joy to the set. Carson valued authenticity above all else. Whether it was a heartfelt song, a wild story, or a completely unplanned moment of chaos, these interactions reminded him why he loved doing The Tonight Show in the first place. Behind the scenes, crew members often noticed Johnny lingering in his dressing room after these guests had left, smiling quietly as he replayed their moments in his mind. They weren't just there to fill time between commercials, they were the reason the show felt alive. Even years after stepping down from the spotlight, Carson reportedly kept tapes of his favorite appearances, rewatching them when he wanted to relive the magic. Johnny Carson's favorite guests weren't necessarily the biggest stars in Hollywood, but they were the ones who made him laugh, think, and feel connected. In the end, that was the real secret to The Tonight Show's success, not just the jokes or the celebrity names, but the genuine moments of human connection that unfolded before millions of viewers each night. And for Carson, those moments were priceless.